Alright, what's up, guys? So we got more SPL action, RBY OU. We got Alexander here, who I thought would be playing ORAS considering that he just came off of winning OLT. Yeah, OLT. And then we got Reyscarface, who I think last SPL, or last World Cup at the very least, was playing RBY. And he's transitioned into that here in this SPL. I think we saw his week one match. We're seeing, but we only saw game three of this one. This time, we're bringing game one, two, and three. I already sort of spoiled it because it's a three-game set, but we don't know who's winning who. RBY, so we're just gonna go ahead and get right into it. Oh shit, you guys can hear that. I think turn that music off. Actually, it depends what's going on. So Lee Jolteon versus Lee Jinx. This is pretty good for Alex because he can just get a bunch of damage off on Jinx. Might paralyze it, and then depends what he wants to do. And then Jolteon is pretty decent sleep fodder because it's pretty useless. Yeah, he decides to go for the Thunder Wave. Usually the better play versus Lee Jinx's. Just to T-wave it over damage just because rest is rather common at high level and just in general. As opposed to the other option, which I think is like counter seismic toss. But we see T-Wave going to Chansey. That's pretty good for both of them. We see the counter coming off. Ray expecting the double kick from Jolteon, which I'm not sure if I agree with that play, considering that double kick's literally going to do like 10%. I actually don't know how much that does off the top of my head. I think it only does like 22. So yeah, he's just better off going to Lax. I mean, maybe Ray was thinking that he didn't want anything else to get paralyzed besides Jolteon. But so that kind of makes sense, but still, I'm not sure if I would have revealed the counter right there. And then Alex pretty boldly goes for body slam. And then why are these people using nicknames? Okay, Toa's a Starmie that gets paralyzed and takes a bunch of damage. So now Starmie has to switch out of there because it's paralyzed. First, an unparalyzed Lax. We get body slam off on Golem, and yeah, Ray's just predicting way too hard. I'm not sure what he's predicting. Maybe I was gonna say Starmie, but Jinx isn't an answer to Starmie. On Golem, we do see Golem from Ray, and yeah, I think that maybe he's scouting for Surf. Okay. If he's scouting for Surf, then that's okay. Still, I would have gone maybe to Chansey or something for that instead of Jinx. Well, Jinx probably doesn't take that much from Surf anyway. It's just that Surf is very uncommon because the thing with rocks is that, first of all, Rhydon shouldn't be used anymore. So the only rock type you're going to see is Golem, and Golem gets worn down very easily, or usually just sort of explodes. So I'm not sure what he put to sleep. He put to sleep Jolteon. So that's probably best case scenario for Alex, considering that there is a Golem on the other side. And we do see rest from the Ray Jinx. Like I said, rest is just very common. But yeah, Jolteon in this particular match is easily the best thing to put to sleep. So that works out well for Alex. And it looks like he's running the S-Toss set, which has seen a pretty big jump from what I've seen. I'm generally not a big fan of it, just because T-Bolt Ice Beam coverage is really nice, especially because you can get random freezes from T-Bolt, or from Ice Beam. And then T-Bolt is nice, maybe get a random pair on something, but just being able to hit stuff like Jinx and not have a PP stall you out of attacking moves, Starmie, Slowbro before it starts to set up. So personally for me, I'm not a big fan of it, but it's definitely not a bad set. And I'm guessing that it's just mono S-Toss. So it's like Reflect, T-Wave, Soft Boiled, and S-Toss. That's what I'm assuming this set is. We haven't seen any other coverage moves, so he might not be running T-Wave, or he might not be running Reflect in favor of Ice Beam, because sometimes Ice Beam is really nice to hit normals. So some RBY. I think only one turn went by, so yeah. Who the fuck is Dorsal? That's Chansey. Why'd you name your Chansey Dorsal, dude? I don't know. But we see Ray does have the Ice Beam. And since his Chansey's paralyzed, it's a pretty solid answer for his Chansey, but that gives Lax the opportunity to come in, and then Ray either predicts like Jolteon or he predicts Lax. more than likely Lax, and you see EQ doesn't do too much. Golem's gonna eat that up, and now Alex is just gonna get an EQ off. He can take the hit because Lax is out full, and then just go to Iggy, maybe sort of bait Ray into going for EQ. So he doesn't try to explode on the Iggy, because if Ray predicted Iggy and just traded with Jolteon to sleep, that would put him in a really good position to sweep with his normals with Iggy gone, or severely weakened, because I think Golem Explosion, I want to say, does 88. So not a KO, but brings Iggy extremely low. So smart little plays there from Alex. So now Golem has to switch out of there. Starmie's a pretty solid answer. Maybe the Iggy has Mega Drain, considering that there is a Jolteon on the team. So there is a probability of Mega Drain. So I'm not sure how good an answer Starmie is, but it's like paralyzed and shit anyway, so maybe Ray doesn't value the Starmie as much as he would, so crit body slam comes in. It's unfortunate. But Lax does get paralyzed, so Starmie might be able to live right here. The Lax is going first for some reason. Am I fucking stupid? Or what? If the Starmie should definitely be going first. I'm confused. The Lax is paralyzed. There's no stat boosts. I don't know. I guess it doesn't really matter. Well, maybe it does. Maybe I'm just being really stupid and I'm just not seeing something. But yeah, Lax is just gonna fire off a body slam. Chansey gets paralyzed there, unfortunately. Yeah, you see Chansey going first, who's paralyzed. So Lax is definitely paralyzed. So I don't know. I'm just tripping. Or something's going on, but Chansey gets paralyzed again as EQ comes out for Alex. So Alex definitely getting lucky. And he definitely looks like he has the upper hand so far. Jinx is paralyzed. Starmie's paralyzed. Golem is getting weakened. And we can assume that his last two at this point are either Tauros Lax or Iggy Tauros. Some combination of those three. Tauros and then either Iggy or Snorlax. We don't know yet, but Alex is looking in a pretty good position. He still has Lax, which can take one sort of average hit, and then potentially self-destruct on something. And then he has a full health Tauros that's not paralyzed. So Alex is looking at a pretty nice spot right now. Iggy's still at a nice health. Ray's Iggy, however, is also at full, so that might help him a little. But like I said, I'm just assuming that he has an Iggy, because I think Iggy is a pretty big staple for team building. And Alex does have my favorite Iggy set, the Hyper Beam. Just Powder, Psychic, Explosion, Hyper Beam. I think that's the best Iggy set just for like standard offense teams. Obviously, Iggy has a lot of other move options that he can run, and on this particular team with the Jolteon, Mega Drain might be an option. Actually, I think Mega Drain would work really well here, especially just to help him take on other normals and stuff, so you can get just that little teensy-weensy bit of HP back. Hit rock types, hit Starmies, because Starmies would love to stay in on Iggy, because they don't think they run Mega Drain, but I'm a big fan of Hyper Beam Iggy, so yeah, there's that. So Tauros is gonna come in on the Starmie. Or no, Starmie died. Iggy comes in on Jinx. Jinx is asleep from the rest. Okay, these nicknames are just tripping me up, dude. But Raze goes for the crit Hyper Beam right here. Maybe feeling a little desperate. So that might imply that his last is not Exeggutor, that it's Lax. So that crit doesn't happen right there. So Ray is not looking too good in this game. Like, he was already in a tough spot, and he already decided to bank on crits. So it definitely looks like his last is something other than Exeggutor. Oh, it's Zapdos, so it's none of the above. Okay. I'm trying to see how Zapdos fits into the team. I guess it kind of does. It's sort of like some offense sweeper. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of team building without Iggy because it's so good. Or even just Lax, because Lax At the very minimum, Lax usually trades 1v1 with something which is big in RBY, and then more often than not, it either does a bunch of damage or just kills something, and then Iggy literally walls like everything that's relevant in the tier that doesn't have an ice move. And even then, it doesn't take that much from it. So T-Wave goes off. Zapdos only takes a little bit. And then Blizzard misses on behalf of Tauros. So maybe Zapdos is the answer that Ray needs to get back into this game. Is this like an Agility Zapdos or something? I don't know. Agility Zapdos really isn't that good just because T-Wave's everywhere. But and with Jolteon asleep, Zapdos is definitely looking like in a strong position. But I don't know. Maybe it has to be Reflect Zapdos. Like, maybe Reflect... Well, he has T-Wave, so he's not Reflect Rest. But I feel like that definitely has to be Reflect Zapdos, because he doesn't have Exeggutor. But I could definitely see how it works on his team. So, Chansey tries to fire off a T-Wave. Fortunately for Ray, he still has Jinx in the back. And there's always the chance that Jinx could freeze something. Like, if Jinx is able to get a freeze on Chansey, that would be huge for Ray. Chansey's just going to fire off some S-tosses. Chansey can... You should have about 2 freezes, or 2 chances to freeze. That Blizzard misses, though. And then another S-toss is going to go off. And then I think after this one, maybe this one or the next one, Ray has to sleep. Oh, and he does get it. Okay, so Ray is completely back in this game. Lax is paralyzed in at half. Chansey is essentially out of commission. You have a Starmie. Why the fuck are you staying in with Chansey when you have a Starmie? Like, what? Because you still sort of deal with Chansey with... you still sort of deal with Jinx with Chansey. Especially once you have something else that's frozen. And you deal with Zapdos, too. And by deal to an extent. Well, then again, you're S-Toss, so... If he's Res Zapdos, then you don't deal with it, so never mind. I was under the assumption that he was, well, like I said, he could still have Ice Beam. He could be S-Toss Ice Beam, so... No, who knows? Who knows, but... you have, like I said, you have Starmie, but you let your Chansey get frozen. I don't know, to me that's a bad play. When you have a Starmie, if that ends up getting frozen versus Jinx, that just ends up getting frozen, you can deal with it with Chansey as long as he doesn't get too many special drops. And then Chansey is just fat and can deal with everything else to an extent. But he is S-Toss, so I can understand that play to an extent. Plus, he probably has Blizzard, so... Blizzard is probably better in this situation, actually, so no, that play makes more sense to me now. I don't know, I still... Well, I keep forgetting in my head that he's S-Toss Chansey. Like, mono S-Toss, because that set is just very unusual to me. I don't think it's good at all. Well, not that it's good at all, but I'm not a fan of it, to say the least. But Blizzard Psychic Starmie should be able to do the job there. And then Jolteon can sort of come in, and then Jinx is asleep, I believe, so Jolteon has a pretty good chance to try and wake up here. And that would be big for Alex. So Alex is still in a good position. Just because Starmie hasn't been paralyzed or anything. And Blizzard, I want to say, does 40-ish. I'm not exactly too sure how much it does, but I think 34 is like mineral. I want to say like 34 to 40 is the damage rules. We'll see here upcoming, and maybe I'm just completely crazy, but that's just what my gut's telling me. Like I said, I don't remember my RBY calcs that well. Real RBY players know this shit by heart, but I'm not a real RBY player, so... But the good news is that you can just calc everything, because welcome to the internet. It's like, why bother to learn math when you could just use a calculator for everything? But Jolteon does not wake up here versus Zapdos. A couple of untimely crits, and now Ray Zapdos has just powered through Jolteon, one of Zapdos' biggest counters in RBY. Or biggest checks, rather. I guess counters, because it resists both of its attacks. And it can paralyze Zapdos back. So no Lax comes in here. I'm guessing Lax is trying to trade with Zapdos. So I'm about to switch to Jinx right there, because you see the Starmie. So Jinx is going to be a little less effective, especially because you already froze something. Ooh, RBY chance happening right there. But Ray's staying in, trying to hack his way through. I guess he thinks that's his only way to win. Yeah. Well, I feel like Lax comes in there and it's intense. Well, Lax is still at high enough health that he doesn't have to explode right there. So, maybe he just tries to trade into Zapdos right there, maybe get a body slam off scouting. So I'm guessing that's why Ray didn't switch. But I feel like the body slam, or Jinx isn't even asleep. Yeah, either it self destructs and you try and hacks through with Zapdos. Well, at the same time though, he goes out to start me, he parries you, and then Iggy just booms too. So it's pretty hopeless for Ray anyway. So I guess it doesn't really matter which way he did it. I guess in a sense, having Jinx around too to deal with Iggy and then just trying to hacks through with Lax was the better play. Yeah, that definitely was the better play right there. You just gotta hope for some paras. That's the position that Ray's in, and he gets one, but RBY comes out and then just booms. So at this point, he's gotta hope for Starmie to stay asleep, and then the set's rest. So the thing is, though, is that if he doesn't get the special draft that he needs, Ray predicting Starmie to wake up right there. Watch, Starmie's gonna wake up this turn. Nope. No, but if Ray doesn't use enough psychics, or Ray uses too many psychics, then Chansey might actually. So Jinx actually still has a chance because Ray is playing this very smart, and he's just going for a lovely kiss on the Starmie to make sure that it stays asleep. And you figure based on the odds, you have about 2 or 3 turns to fire off psychics. So we have the first one right here. So Ray can still definitely pull this one back. So we got a psychic right here. Ray definitely needs some special drops. Is people making noise outside? No, it doesn't sound like it. So I figure that based on the way Ray's playing it, we're gonna see him fire off 2 more psychics, and then he's gonna start going for lovely kisses. We see the crit right there. He gets another crit psychic. That could be big. I think Ray would have rather had the special drop. He hasn't gotten one though, so Starmie's gonna switch out. Do we see it go to Chansey? Yes, we do. I'm guessing Alex is trying to use Chansey to PP stall a little bit. That would make the most sense. Because that's what I was trying to say earlier, that if Ray doesn't conserve his PP well, that Chansey might be able to PP stall it. Because its only other moves are Lovely Kiss and Rest, and Chansey can't attack, so it's not going to waste any PP. But yeah, it looks like Ray's starting to pull this one back. He's getting the sleep turns that he needs. I think a Blizzard actually will take Starmie out from there, so as long as it connects. And I mean, Chansey, I guess, is getting foddered at this point, but I think Ray might actually pull this one back. I don't know. What health is Iggy at? Yeah, I think Iggy dies to a Blizzard there. I think Ray managed to pull this one back with Jinx. Because Chansey's not doing anything, and Starmie, it can't wake up because of the way RBY mechanics work. And Blizzard should take out the Iggy from there. Blizzard should take out the Starmie from there. Blizzard might be a roll, actually. I don't remember. I think Blizzard's min is 22 or 21. Maybe 20. Something around there. Let's see. Psychic was doing 14%. No, that's to the Chansey. How much was it doing to Starmie? I think it was doing like 13 or... Yeah, I think it was doing like 12 or 13. I think Blizzard should take it out from here. Let's see, though. Because I'm assuming that's why Alexander decided to switch in there. No, Ray just goes for the Psychic, so I guess it doesn't take it out from there. Or it comes down to a roll and Ray doesn't want to risk it. And Starmie does stay asleep there, so Ray gets lucky, and the Starmie doesn't wake up when he needs it. And Jinx is able to take out the Starmie, so let's see if Blizzard takes out Exeggutor. I do believe it does, and Ray will be able to bring it back after being down most of Game 1. He's going to be able to bring it back, I think, and be able to take Game 1, so that's big for Ray. So let's just see what happens here. Blizzard goes off, and yeah, it does take out Exeggutor, so... Game 1 goes to Ray. Very, very exciting. I am going to do all 3 games in this narration, so... Oh, yeah. Catch my breath right here, out here running marathons. Not just kidding. We're inside forever and ever. So yeah, Ray's able to bring that game all the way back. So now let's go ahead and bring you guys game 2. So Alex is bringing Jinx this time. Ray brings Starmie. So good job for Ray. I guess getting lucky and catching the lead right. They talked a little bit about their plays in the beginning. Hold on, I'm gonna actually pause and scroll up here real quick to this chat. I think the choke was not T-Wave in the Starmie, by the way. Oh, you did have T-Wave. Trying to wake up with Joel was fine. Yeah. Okay, so he did. Yeah, that was probably a choke. All he had to do was T-Wave and boom. What play was he talking about right there? I don't remember. But, yeah, Ray's able to bring that. Ray was able to bring game 1 back. So, game 1, Jinx gets paired. So Alex gets a little unlucky in the beginning sequence, gets parried, and then misses Lovely Kiss. So now Jinx is paralyzed, has a little bit of damage off on it, but Starmie goes to sleep at the end of the day. Alex's Chansey gets this reflect up. He's able to paralyze the Chansey afterwards. And now he's just going to try and rest right here. If this Chansey has S-Toss, that might not have been a wise play, but I don't think Ray's a big fan of that set either, so I think that read by Alex predicting Chansey not to have S-Toss was a good one. Ray's Chansey is also paralyzed, so that's definitely good for Alex. So that his normals have a pretty high chance of beating the Chansey. And no, Chansey has to reflect up and it can soft boiled. Oh, crit T-ball, that's unfortunate. I guess he was trying to predict the ice move, which is why he went to Jinx, burn some sleep turns. We got Lax on Lax, though. These Laxes are just going to body slam each other. Ray makes a smart play and EQ's first scouting for counter Lax. Alex doesn't buy into that nonsense, but it works out for him because Ray doesn't have counter. I think he's just standard, what's it called? Fish Lax, I think is the name of this set. Just 3 normals and EQ. Jinx wakes up, but Ray either predicts to wake up or just whatever. And he just goes for sleep powder, and now Jinx is back asleep again. He's got to go to Chansey, though. Both these guys go to Chansey. Ooh, the game's just going way too fast. I gotta slow things down, dude. Who used Ice Beam? Oh, Lax used Ice Beam. So, is Ray and Misha Lax, or does he just happen to have it? He was using Body Slam, I think, so I think he just has Ice Beam just to have it. Lax is able to die, though, so that works out well for Alex. His Lax is still alive, though, so on a paralyzed Mon, he can still explode and trade into it. That's what I was saying earlier about Lax. You can usually take out one Mon and either do a bunch of damage to another one or just straight up take 2 Mons. That's why Lax is so good and just the typical fish Lax. At least I think that's what the set's called. I'm like 90% sure that's what the set's called. It's just so handy, and that's why you see it on so many teams. Chance is going to be able to eat this sidekick up, though. Alex has to soft boil, though, to stay out of Toro's hyper beam range. Well, it's technically at a min, but it's still within range. So he should be soft boiling. He decides to T-wave, though, I guess, saying, well, you know what, I'm out of it. I'm not going to waste the soft boil, which I can respect. I feel like he should have soft boiled anyway. Chance is going to come in predicting the T-wave. Ray's Chansey can eat that up. That's why T-waving Chansey isn't the best thing in the world. I mean, it's definitely good now in the new quote-unquote meta for RBY. Because now your Chansey, which has a pretty high chance to beat normals because it can't get paralyzed by Body Slam, now will lose to them because it's paralyzed, or has a high chance to lose to them because typically you're going to get paralyzed at least once in the Chansey normal exchange. But at the same time, you can switch into T-Waves from special attackers, which almost all special attackers, bar like Jinx, have a form of paralysis that you can switch into. And then you're immune to sleep and freeze, which is also nice. So off on that little tangent right there, Chansey's going to go for Ice Beam. Lax is going to come in. Obviously, Boom is incoming. And we know Ray doesn't have a Gengar, so Ray just decides to sack Starmie. Is Jinx asleep yet? Yeah, Jinx is asleep. But it wasn't because of its own doing. It was because of Exeggutor. That's right. So I guess Starmie is a pretty solid sack here. Jinx low and asleep and not through rest does not spell a good sign for Jinx. So Starmie's probably the best sack there. And Lax goes down. Like I said, Lax took down 2 Pokemon. Tauros v Tauros. Is this going to come down to a Tauros war? We'll see. Alex is 2. If we're just going standard, we can assume is Iggy and Alakazam. We might see a Slowbro, though, if he... Yeah, we might see Slowbro. I already mentioned Alakazam. Maybe we see a Golem, too. Because if his other Mon is Iggy, his team is very weak to Zapdos. We could see him bring Jolteon. We saw him bring Jolteon once. Jolteon could also work on this team. I just missed Alexander getting a crit body slam. That was really crucial in that Tauros war. So this is just RBY at its finest right here. Tauros wars. Alexander's Tauros is more well trained though. Gets a crit, does not get crit by body slam. Gets a useless crit right there while the Tauros is charging. It won the speed tie too. Just pointing that out. Doesn't matter, but it won all 3 speed ties. I didn't point that out. So yeah, Alexander's Tauros is much better trained. He's going to switch into his Chansey. Now, both normals are dead for Ray, so at this point, it's basically more beneficial to be paralyzed. But Ray just goes for the Psychic smartly because Tauros is low. And maybe you fish for a special drop on Chansey, which helps you be in the upper hand. But he doesn't want to get T-waved. Wants to save Zam around to outspeed Alex's Tauros. And just be, in general, be a fast late game threat like late game Zam is. Most underrated Mon in RBY and RB. Oh my god, I can't talk. Most underrated Mon in RBY IMO. Late game Zam. Just super fast, powerful sidekick, special drops galore. The lack of coverage in this gen is, I think, Alakazam's biggest downfall. Like, if Alakazam got Ice Punch or something, then it would... Late game Zam would be just so good. But with Reflect Up, or even with S-Toss, it's still really good. But RBY stuff is going down. Alex gets a little bit lucky right there with this special drop. However... he just decides to stay in right there. Full health, he can take an explosion from the other Iggy. Which I guess works out for Ray. Is he within Alakazam's Psychic range? No, I think that does 16, I want to say. Probably, it does between, like, I want to say 12 and 16. I might be wrong on that, but... Because, like I said, I don't remember my calcs on RBY. There was a point in time when I used to know damn near all my calcs. But like I said, you have a calculator for that, so fuck that. Ray has Reflect like most of the late game Zams do, and smartly just decides to Reflect. Is this Iggy parried? Otherwise, I'm not sure I agree with this play. Because Alex has no reason not to go for Thunder Wave right here. And your Chansey's at pretty high health. Maybe what Ray predicted was the double back to Exeggutor, or double to Tauros. Both of those plays I think would be viable. But Iggy's pretty low, so I feel like if you're gonna predict that play, then just go for Psychic. So I think he just genuinely wanted to T-Wave Chansey and just be like, I'm fishing for pairs, but you could avoid having to work around all that hacks and just go to Chansey. So I don't agree with Ray letting his Zam get paralyzed right here. But at the same time, he has a Reflect Up, so I don't know how much he has to worry about Tauros and Zam, or Tauros and Iggy. Especially because if Iggy goes for Boom, that's mildly telegraphed, and he can... Well, then Zam is paralyzed, and he gets an untimely parry on Tauros. Things are not looking good. But I can understand what Ray's thought process is. You have a Reflect Up. You do beat Chansey 1v1. Especially like you saw just last turn. He got the special drop. 1 or 2 more of those, and Zam beats Chansey. Especially, like I said, if you get lucky with the special drops. If you don't get lucky with special drops, which is a little bit more difficult because you're paralyzed. No, that's just crit ratio. But, I mean, crits help too. So Ray does get lucky right there with the special drop. Chansey has to soft boiled right there. I actually can't talk. It's actually ridiculous, but we're in for some RBY action, so I'm just gonna put it on fast mode for a second. And I'm just gonna stay out here in La La Land. Ray decides to switch finally. He should have been doing that a while ago. And now you can't freeze the Chansey, which is another reason why. Like, if he did predict Aggie or Tauros, which to me is the only sensible reason to stay in there, you should have just sidekicked. Like, T-Waving doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe it's sort of a fail ground, a fail safe play, but even then, psychicking Chansey isn't bad because, I mean, sure, you use up your psychic PP, but you have a fairly high chance, and I don't remember what the chance is for a special drop in RBY, but it happens a bunch, so you have a fairly high chance to get that special drop at the very minimum if you predict that play. Otherwise, you just go to Chansey. And now we're in for some Chansey Wars, so now we're in for a real good one. And I haven't seen this game yet. Most of these are going to be post replays because of the fact that live narrations are kind of ripperino with La Familia usually being home when these games take place. If these games take place when the family isn't home, then I'll try and do one live like I did Metal Gross vs. Tobes live. But usually that doesn't happen, so most of these are going to be post narrated. But that should be alright though. But I try not to watch them so it's like I'm giving a live reaction, but they're post narrated. Or I'll just be on the server at the time and I'll watch them and then I'll grab the replay while I'm there. But I'm going to try and bring a decent number of games. I'll bring the RBYs definitely. Not all of them, but one or two. I really enjoy watching ADV as a spectator. I don't know that much about it, like the intricacies of it. It'd be a tier that I'd definitely like to learn if I still had the motivation to put time into the game, because I think ADV is probably the most rewarding tier to get something out of, but I'll try and at least get you guys the replays, even if my commentary isn't that good. At least you have the games, and I think I know enough about what's going on in ADV, so it's not like my commentary's cancerish. It might be though. I don't know. That's your opinion, not mine. Yeah, well, I'm just speaking my mind over here, sort of giving you the rundown on what I'm trying to do as far as giving you guys videos for the SPL. Just RBY stuff's going on. Chansey's got a reflect and a special drop up. Both these Chanseys are paralyzed. Zam is paralyzed. Like I said, I think Ray could have made some plays to avoid the Zam being paralyzed, especially because you see Alex's Tauros is not paralyzed. So we're going to be here for a while. Because we know that Ray won game 1, we know that Alex wins game 2. We can logically sort of deduce that. But we're going to be in here for the long haul to see how it is. We're on turn 91 right now. And did Alex show us Ice Beam? Oh, that's right, it doesn't show us in the replay. I don't know if Alex showed us Ice Beam or not. At this point, Alex is just going for these reflects to try and conserve PP. But Ray is playing it smart and sort of pivoting between Chansey and Alakazam. I guess that's the main reason why this S-Toss Chansey has been popping up, because if it doesn't, then Alakazam has a high chance to beat Chansey one-on-one, but S-Toss lets you beat Alakazam because Alakazam doesn't have much HP. But at the same time, Alakazam still has Recover. He still has a high chance to get special drops on you. And it's like, if they know that you have S-Toss, then they just go to Chansey or something else, or like the Snorlax or something to beat your Chansey. Like, I don't know, that's why I'm not a big fan of it. Ooh, we get a crit right there. He has 2 special drops though, so that crit doesn't really matter. It's about the same damage. So why'd he switch? Huh? This Ice Beam should be doing a decent amount. Yeah, 23. And ooh, RBY. Ooh, double para. Ray goes for the soft boil though and gets a lucky para and another para right there. But why isn't Alex going for soft boiled? Is he out of soft boiled? I think he is. He has to be out of soft boiled at this point. But Ray just Ray's doing that. Oh, and then another para. The whole reason why I think Ray is going for Thunder Waves right there, so Chansey can be at 100. And yeah, that doesn't KO. So I think Ray is trying to get to 100. And yeah, soft boil goes off. Ooh, and another para. Alright, this has been a long one, but now we're getting down to the good stuff. We see Alex is last, which is Lapras. I predicted Slowbro. I think I said Slowbro or Starmie, but Lapras also makes sense on this team. We see Body Slam go off. Obviously, Chansey's already paralyzed. And then now Lapras gets paralyzed due to the Thunder Wave. I haven't seen too many Lapras that much, though. Lapras definitely took a decline because you can't pair it Chansey anymore with Body Slam. And it's like Starmie is so good. And then Slowbro is really good, especially because of the boosting thing. I think that was discovered around the same time, or at the same time as the Body Slam thing. And I already explained that in another video, so I'll go ahead and explain it again. Oh wait, what happened? What a game. Oh, Chansey got parried a bunch of times, and now Ray is, he's entered Reyscarface. Shout out to Turbo Team. What a game. Okay, you've lucked me twice. I have to luck you the last one. I guess Alex did get luckier in the first game. I don't know. But yeah, double pairs went down while I was just off in La La Land talking about the T-Wave boosting mechanics. But yeah, basically if you're paralyzed and then you boost your stats, it's like you don't have a speed drop. So Slowbro is really good. So because of that, Lapras has took a decline, but Stab Ice moves are really underrated. I didn't know if it would be Lapras though, because he has Jinx, and usually you don't see both of them on the same team. Like I said though, Stab Blizzard is very difficult for teams to deal with in this gen, and wears teams down a lot because it usually does like 25% at the least of things and freeze and all that. So after a long Haxing one, Alex is able to come out on top because his mons are better trained and they love him more, even though happiness doesn't exist in Gen 1. Fun fact of the day. So now we're going to get into Game 3, and we see dual Zam leads on part of Alex and Ray. I think they're both just going to T-Wave each other, or they're going to switch out, but they both stay in, so they are both just going to T-Wave each other. If they have, like, Chanseys or something that appreciates Paramore, well, they're leads, so they're not going to necessarily need to not be paralyzed as much, but it's pretty nice, especially because since it's lead Zam, it's usually what you want to get put to sleep, so you can switch it into Eggy and put it to sleep. But they're both just going to S-toss each other, but T-Waving's still a viable play. It sort of depends on what your mindset is on, like, yeah, just what your mindset is. And they're just both S-tossing each other. Ray's able to win this one, but you need another S-toss, and I'm guessing Alex recovers right here unless he gets paralyzed. Ooh, and he does get paralyzed, so that luck that Ray was talking about that he needed, he already got it, so Zam is good as dead at this point. And yeah, Alex just decides to sack it and hit Ray Zam. He's still at a pretty high amount of HP, so he has a pretty good chance to recover and sort of stick around, maybe to help him versus Chansey or something. But yeah, Alex is just going to go out to Lax. Lax won't KO with Body Slam, but it'll do a bunch. And then Lax doesn't really mind being paralyzed because it's already slow as shit anyway. I mean, it's unfortunate, but, you know, like I said, Lax is already slow as shit. Ray decides to switch out to Chansey, though. Decides to leave the Chansey unparalyzed instead of the Lax, but that means that Chansey can beat Lax 1v1, especially if it's Reflect. Even then, though, as long as crits don't happen, Chansey will come out on top. If it's Reflect Chansey, definitely wins 1v1. But yeah, Ray just decides to softboil. Alex scouts for counter Chansey, goes for EQ. I feel like the one time that you never... This is just my experience. The one time that you never scout as the one time they're always going to have counter. Like, otherwise, they just don't have counter. I don't know. That's just my personal experience, though. But yeah, EQ goes off. Alex realizes he's got to switch out of there. He can go to his own Chansey, try and Chansey para. I'm not sure if that trade's necessarily worth it, though, because, I mean, you switched Lax in there willing to get it paralyzed. You might as well just stick with it. And just try to pressure Chansey, keep it around 70-ish. Maybe even do a little bit more to it with Body Slam. Who knows, though. But Ray can just switch out to his Zam because that Zam is paralyzed. They're not get Chansey paralyzed. And we see S-Toss Chansey once again from Alex. So I'm guessing, once again, I'm just guessing it's the mono S-Toss set. Even though S-Toss Ice Beam is still a good set. You can still free stuff. You know, you can still do damage to Eggy when it switches in. But that's usually what I'm guessing. Goes for another S-Toss right there, hoping to get a pair. No pair comes in, so Ray's been pretty fortunate this game as far as the luck is concerned. Now he realizes he has to switch out of there. Does he go to Chansey again, or does he go to something like Lax to try and threaten it out? I just go to Chansey, so I'm guessing that maybe they want to trade pairs. I mean, it's pretty safe because, of course, Chansey takes nothing from S toss. Especially if Ray has Ice Beam, which we might see here. We're probably just going to see him fire off a T-Wave onto Chansey. Oh, we do see the Ice Beam. All right. So Ray's making some plays right now. Trying to get that Ice Beam freeze. That's typically what you do if you have it. Unfortunately, though, Ray's Chansey is now paralyzed, so unless it can freeze that Chansey, it's at a disadvantageous position. And it's just a disadvantageous position versus Lax, too, because now Lax outspeeds. Ray's going to switch out to Iggy, predicting that, I believe. Yeah, he just switches out to Iggy, predicting Lax or just a physical attacker in general. Lax more than likely. So Lax has got to get out of there. Alex's Chansey's not paralyzed, so this is a potential for a free body slam. Or a free... Why did I say body slam? Because Lax was out. Well, free sleep powder. Alex decides Chansey is the best thing, though. Kind of well, I guess his Lax is dead, so maybe Chansey is the next best thing if he's running offense. But what would his other bond be? So Lax, Tauros, Aggie, we just see right here. I'm trying to think what his last would be. Probably Zapdos or something. Maybe Jolteon. Maybe Golem. I don't know what his last would be. We already saw Lapras, but Lapras is, like I said, Lapras isn't that common. Actually, Lapras makes more sense on this team than the last team because he doesn't have Jinx. So he needs a nice type switch in. So we might see Slowbro, we might see Starmie. I'm predicting Slowbro, dude. Slowbro is mad underrated in RBY. No one really brings it. I don't know why. Slowbro is really good. I don't know. I guess it's just like the standard stuff is usually easier to use, and Slowbro is really prone to getting hexed. That's my experience in using Slowbro anyway, but it's also just like really good, especially like if it has the right movesets as far as like its teammates to sort of support it. But once again, I'm just sort of rambling on here. So we see Reflect Lax from Alex. So like I said, I've said this multiple times. Usually when I see Reflect Lax, I either assume Amnesia or Reflect Rest with Body Slam and EQ. That's the usual set. We've already seen Body Slam and EQ, so I'm thinking Reflect Rest right here. That's a really good set from Lax. That's another set that doesn't get enough love in my opinion. Chansey does get T-Wave though. And now Lax has to switch out of here against Eggy because it doesn't have self-destruct. Again, I'm guessing. Some of them do carry self-destruct with Reflect, but like I said, usually when I see Reflect, it's best used with Reflect Rest. Otherwise, if you're going to use self-destruct, in my opinion, otherwise just use Counter Lax. But that's just my opinion. But Alex has got to switch out of there. He goes to his own Eggy, and then Ray's Eggy just uses Psychic. And Alex's Eggy just uses Psychic. Ray switches into Chansey right here. Special drop for Alex, so that's really good. But we already know that Ray is using Ice Beam, so... like I said, if Ray was using S-Toss, Eggy could just stay in here, fire off some more Psychics, get Chansey though, but because Chansey has Ice Beam, he's got to switch out of there. Going to Lax. Lax being paralyzed right here means it can't get frozen, so that's all good stuff. From Alex. Oh, like I said, you know that this gen has its flaws, to say the least, when being paralyzed is considered a good thing because you can't get frozen. But this should be a pretty free ice... Why did I say Ice Beam? I was just talking about Freeze. But Body Slam from Lax. And you're just chipping away at Iggy. Iggy's probably not going to boom here, so that's a pretty safe play. Maybe you Reflect, and then to deal with that, I don't know how much boom does to Reflect Lax. I want to say it does like 40. So, it doesn't even matter because it gets paralyzed. I was thinking like maybe Reflect and then you rest right there. And then you just hope that you don't get special drops, but... none of that's going to go down because Lax gets paralyzed, so Alex has got to go back to Iggy right here. His Iggy's got to get weakened. Ray's Iggy is taking a little bit of chip, but Alex's Iggy is a little bit lower, so advantage Ray so far early on. Like I said, I'm not too sure I agree with him letting his Chansey get paralyzed, but he's gotten the luck on the Zam exchange. And then since then, he's played pretty solid. We see double edge out here from Alex. Definitely a little less common as far as the normal move. For this reason only, it doesn't do that much, and recoil on your Aggie is not fun. Just because it's so important to keep your Aggie alive. Self-destruct is obvious right here. Obvious as shit. So it's basically, what does Ray want to sack? Probably Zam. Because there's nothing else to put to sleep, so it's like, might as well just let Zam go for the boom. Alex, I think, has to boom right here, and yeah, he does. And then, like I said, Ray makes the smart play, just goes to Zam. Zam is by far the best choice to boom at that point because it's paralyzed. I already said all this, but I'm saying it again because now the turn's going on, so yeah, Iggy booms, Zam goes down. We see Zapdos as one of the last, so it is Zapdos once again. I'm trying to predict these slowbros and stuff because whenever I build these types of teams and I don't have ice resist, I'm always scared of ice resist, dude. But I guess Zapdos is also threatening if you want to like run offense. And then, well, Zapdos doesn't really check Zapdos either. I don't know. But I guess you have Chansey too, and Chansey and Lax is like, ooh, these things are fat, so they pseudo check things, and then you got Zapdos too to just fire off T-balls and stuff. Ooh, body slam pair, that's not nice. I think Lax comes out on top of this situation unless Paris goes away. Ooh, crit, that's another thing. Crit when it's paralyzed. That's unusual, but it happens. Ooh, we see Hyper Beam go off here. Ray, I guess, figures that Alex is going to stay in. Or what else does he have to switch? What health is his Chansey at? Isn't his Chansey at like 60 or 72 and asleep? So Hyper Beam is definitely a nice play right there from Ray. So yeah, Ray's looking really solid this game. He's looked solid pretty much the entire game. When he won that Zam war, because the Zams got paralyzed, he was just in a very strong position since then. Tauros was able to kill the Lax, but Lax basically killed Chansey and got a bunch of damage on his Lax. Got a little bit. Yeah, Lax definitely did his job. Starmie's going to be revealed from Ray. And like I said, he's got his obligatory ice resist. And then I don't know what his last is going to be. Oh, Tauros, never mind. He's never a mystery in RBY. Tauros is going to come and try and take advantage of the sleeping Chansey. And I don't think there's anything that Alex can do because didn't his Tauros just take a bit of damage not too long ago? No, so Alex should probably just double the Tauros right here and try and say, you know what, I'm going to do these Tauros wars. At the same, isn't this, no, Hyper Beam is like in the 40s, it's not in the 50s. So if Alex is rest, he can still, he can rest right here with Lax. So no chance he's going to come in from the Ray. Like I said, I'm expecting a rest to come out. Maybe we see a reflect. Oh, we just see straight up body slam. I guess that's an alright play. And Softball's going to come out though because both of them are paralyzed. Do we see a reflect from the Alex Lax? If we see a reflect, and then like I said, I'm hoping for the reflect rest. That's such a good set for Lax that gets very little usage for some reason. If we do see a rest right here, I think Alex might be able to bring it back just with Lax being really fat. Do we see rest? Oh, we see body slam. Alex hoping that there's no counter. I don't think there's going to be a counter though because we've seen Ice Beam and T-Wave soft boiled obviously. And then I guess it could be counter in mono Ice Beam. That is a set. Usually they're Ice Beam T-Bolt though. Ah yes, we do see the rest. Like I said, this is one of my favorite Lax sets right here, Reflect Rest. And with the Reflect up, Lax at full health, Alex is in a pretty good position. I mean, and he has a Reflect up, so Boom does, I think, about the same as Tauros Hyper Beam. About that same damage range, so I think he can even stay in here on the Boom. Ray probably... Well, the thing is, though, is that I don't think Alex has anything that's asleep. Ooh, RBY. But I don't think... No, his Chansey's asleep, so it's not a big deal, so... Ooh, special drop, though. Ray's getting pretty lucky this game. I mean, I say lucky as he just missed a Psychic that turn, but that special drop was unfortunate. Ooh, in the para. Okay, so... I think he's still outside of Boom range. Ooh, crit. Another special drop. That's not good. Does Lax rest right here again, or does he just go for another body slam? He does just go for another body slam. Iggy goes first there, even though it's paralyzed. Once again, I don't know if I'm just being stupid. Maybe it has something to do with the drops, and that affects the speed. I don't know. I don't know though. It might have something to do with the drops. Like I said, my mechanics understanding in RBY is really rusty. That would make sense though. Well, about as much sense as RBY sense can make. If like you get a drop on something and somehow that ignores the speed. That's what I'm guessing though. So Chansey's just gonna be traded for the boom. I think that's a trade that Alex is okay with. Just letting your Chansey, which was already sleep, go down for Iggy, which is the last thing that can put you to sleep. But you pretty much got to rely on Tauros Wars because what health is Lax at? 7.3. I mean, in theory, you can get a rest on Chansey, but I think Reza is a strong enough player that he's not gonna get a rest, or at least not get a rest for free, and he can switch in Tauros or Starmie to take advantage of that. We see Starmie go for the Thunder Wave right here. Alex can't do anything about it because I feel like his only hope is to try and rely on Tauros, or not Tauros, Lax. So even if he switched to Lax, Starmie would just attack him because Lax is so low. So he has to pretty much let Tauros get paralyzed and hope for some really good luck. He gets Body Slam Paris, so that's a start. He's going to have to do something versus Tauros, and because Body Slam can't pair anymore, he's going to have to hope for like a Blizzard Freeze in Tauros v Tauros or something. He's going to have to hope for a good exchange versus a Starmie, though that doesn't help him. If he gets some Paras or something, or gets some crits, that's going to help so his Tauros can take a Body Slam. Or stay out of Hyper Beam range. That would help him even more. He's still out of it, though. So Starmie's going to have to stay paralyzed for Alex if Alex wants to get back into it. Starmie does not stay paralyzed, though, and it's going to recover. And Ray's just going to play the smart. Just try and stay out of Hyper Beam range. He goes for Blizzard right there. I don't know why. Because maybe, even if you predicted a switch, I don't think Ray switches Tauros indirectly. I think he just go for body slams trying to crit. And Starmie's already parried, so you can't freeze it. Goes for Blizzard again. I don't know. If you're trying to crit something, then crit Hyper Beam. So those plays from Alex are a little confusing, but it's whatever. So Thunderbolt's just going off. Ray's just trying to get damage. Now it's in Hyper Beam range. So as long as Hyper Beam connects, Ray wins this game guaranteed. Ray's not even taking that chance, though. He's trying to recover and trying to get maximum mileage out of the Starmie. And Tauros keeps getting paralyzed, so Alex is not getting the luck that he needs. If anything, the luck is in Ray's favor. He's going to decide to just... Oh my god, I can't speak. Conserve Starmie at full. Go to Tauros directly right here. What's he doing? Maybe he's predicting the... If that freezes right here, that's so bad. Okay, crits, but it does not freeze. I was gonna say, what Ray predicted there more than likely was, well, then again, why would Alex switch to Tauros? Because, Starmie just outspeeds and KOs him with Thunderbolt. He already revealed Thunderbolt, so he doesn't have to, he can't say, well, it may be for some random reason, which makes no sense, he only has Blizzard. So Alex says in the chat, should have won game 1, might be, GG's. Well, he says my bad, but it's might be, but whatever. He probably should have. Ray played pretty well down the stretch, though, but I feel it was definitely in Alex's control, and he let it slip away. Because he really only had to boom on Zapdos, but he played Zapdos kind of weird. But you can go back and watch game 1 earlier in the video if you want to do that. So Body Slam goes off, gets a useless crit, and Ray's able to win. Ray was in pretty firm control that game, so nothing Alex, I think, really could have done. Did they bring the exact same team? No. Zapdos and Starmie were the two major differences. Alex choosing to go in a more offensive direction, and Ray just bringing standard RBY balance. Which, like I said, I like Starmie in that slot a lot more. Because you can switch in Ice-type moves, so especially when something else gets frozen, because RBY is dumb. But it's still an enjoyable tier to play, because there's a lot of good traits about it, too. And I feel like because you expect the worst to happen all the time, it's not, you don't get as salty as if you're playing another gen, and you get hexed twice. you get hacks like 20 times in a standard RBY game. But again, I'm just going off on a tangent. But Ray's able to take the series 2-1. Did he win the last week? If I recall correctly, he did. So I think that's 2-0 for Ray. So congratulations to Ray. No, I don't think he did. No, he didn't actually. So either way, Ray's at minimum back to 500. I don't remember. But yeah, also leave in the comments if you want me to split these videos up, if it's RBY and there's multiple games involved, which there will be. If you want me to just do all 3 games at once, or if you want me to just split them up. It doesn't make any difference to me whatsoever. So that's all. It's all basically up to you guys, but yeah, it's a pretty good series. Both players, like I said, Alex probably should have won game 1, but so whatever. Like I said, Ray played really well in game 1, especially at the second half, and then game 2, Alex played really well, and then game 3, Ray got a little lucky in the beginning, but then made sure that Alex couldn't get back into it, so that was a very strong play on his part. Both players overall played pretty strong, with the exception of one major flub by Alex, which unfortunately decided the series, but once again, that's all besides the point. So, yeah, GG's, guys. Follow the Twitter, follow the Twitch, sub to the YouTube, like the video, comment, and, yeah, later.